We're going to have a look at the kanji now that we need for Nihon no ie, Japanese houses. First of all, we have the kanji for room. Here it is, heya, heya. And of course, a room is where we often brush our hair. So that's easy to remember. Let's have a look at the first one here. It means a part. And the second one means a room or a building. Have a look at the first one in a little bit more detail now. This is what it looks like. On the left-hand side, we actually have the kanji for to stand. And it looks a little bit like a man standing. There's his head, his arms, and those are his legs on the ground. Then this element here is mouth. And then on the right-hand side, this one here, whoops, stroke order is actually this first. Ich, ni. That actually means a village. Generally, well, people say a village on top of a hill. And if you think Japanese people often change a V sound to a B, that B shape can remind you of the word village. Now, why does it mean a part? Well, that's debatable. But anyway, let's think of this as a part of a village where you stand and you chat. Also, a room is a part of the house where you also stand and you chat. And you've got your B for bed in your room. Let's have a look at the kakijun, or the stroke order for that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in 1, 8, 9, and 10. So there we have a part. Let's have a look at the next part of word now. Beg your pardon, room. Here it is. It's this one here. It's pronounced ya, and it's quite an interesting character. Let's have a look at its etymology and its stroke order. I'll start with its stroke order. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, the elements here we've got on the top is a kind of roof. You see it's quite a thick roof there. Then we've got this shape here. It looks like a one, an ichi, with the katakana mu underneath it, doesn't it? In fact, it's a picture of an arrow going down, and this you can easily identify as the ground. So in fact, this element here is an arrow going all the way down to the ground, and it means to arrive. Now this kanji is arriving under your roof. So it's a place where you arrive and you're safe and sound, and it means a building or a house or a home. Now you can't use it on its own for any of those things, but that's its original meaning. And we're going to have a look at its etymology now. Here you can see relatively clearly, particularly in this one down here, that shape there, there's your arrow, and underneath there's the ground, and that there is a representation of a roof. You can see it's had many different changes in its history, and the final squared up shape looks like this. It's pronounced ya, and it means, here you can see a house, a room, or a shelter. We put it together with he, and we get heya. And there it is again, he, ya. Let's go down now and have a look at the next one. Now the next one means a Japanese style room. It's pronounced wa shitsu, and the two characters are these, wa and shitsu. Now shitsu looks very much like the ya that we've just had. We'll come back to that in a moment, but for now let's have a look at the character that is pronounced wa. Here it is over here. We'll have a look at its stroke order first. And here we go. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now this one is actually made of two elements. On the left hand side it's actually a rice plant, and this stands for either a bundle of rice or just good quality rice, and of course that's absolutely essential to the ancient Chinese, and of course even to the modern Japanese. And then there's a mouth here on the right hand side, down here and across and there. And if we have a look at the etymology, we can see what's going on a little more clearly. Okay, well here we have the characters. This, of course, the seal, these are about 2,000 years old, and these are a similar age as well. And you can see some of them, like this one here, look at that bit on the right. You can see very clearly how that's a rice plant growing there, can't you? This bit here has been simplified down to look like a mouth. And in fact, this is an interesting one here. Here it looks very much like the form these days, but of course it's been swapped around. Oh no, actually that's the shape that we have now. This one here, which is a more modern one, the mouth is on the left-hand side, but this is very close to the one we use today. So that shape there that looks like a modern-day mouth, and then the rice on the left-hand side. Now the rice on the left-hand side, that was actually included for its sound because it sounded like to agree. So you had to agree on the left-hand side, the mouth on the right-hand side. So when you have all the people with their mouths agreeing, then you have peace and harmony. And this represents peace and harmony, but also is the symbol for Japan. So if that's in a word, it could actually mean something to do with Japan rather than something to do with peace and harmony. When we can combine that word meaning peace or harmony, and here it is, with shitsu, which means a room, then we get washitsu, which is a Japanese style room. Let's have a little closer look now at shitsu. We're going to start with the etymology this time, and here you can see that actually the top part here is an alternative form of a roof, just like the other word we had for a house or a home or a dwelling had a roof on top. This one also has a roof, but you can see it's a full roof there with a sort of chimney on top, and you can look at its various permutations during its history. This one very clearly shows that arrow going down to the ground, and of course that means to arrive. And in the same way as arriving under your roof in the other one meant a dwelling or a house, in this one it's just an alternative, and it also means a room, an apartment, a home, etc. But it sometimes is used in one word and sometimes in another. Let's have a look at the stroke order now. And here it goes. Ich, ni, san, there's your roof. Shi, go, that's your arrow. Roku, shich, hach, ku, and that's the ground. And there is shitsu. Moving from wa shitsu, Japanese style room, we're going to go down now to have a look at the kanji for garden. There it is. It's pronounced niwa. Here's the kanji here. And let's see if we can look at what elements it's got. Again, we'll start with the etymology. And it's a little hard to see, but you've got here an open roof. And that indicates that it's a covering or an awning. So we've got a covering. And then underneath, we've got a courtyard garden. And this element here was a man, and he was standing on dirt, so you can see the dirt there in the bottom and the man. And then this part apparently was extending out. But if we have a look at the modern version over here, I think it looks a bit more like a 3 with a ground underneath. So let's look more closely at the modern form. We'll have a look at the stroke order whilst we have a look at the rest. So we've got our awning there. This side we've got the man standing on the ground. Here we've got what looks like a 3 and then a stroke going underneath. To me it looks like the awning over the garden, the courtyard garden. The man there, he is indeed standing, there's his head, and he's standing on the ground. And if we think there are 3 of them in the garden, because it's nice to have 3 people having a nice garden party, 3 people in the garden, and there's the ground underneath. Let's check out our stroke order one more time, because it's a little complicated. So we've got the roof of the awning, and we've got a cross, and there's our awning, we've got our man, there's his head, there's the ground where he's standing, 3 of them, and underneath is the bottom of the garden. And those are our kanji for page 20.